Starting the auction off at $1 for 1 minute, like we always do.
This is one of our favorite covers, and you got it.
A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right? A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right?
Okay, so I really enjoy hearing you talk about the creative process and the various talent you work with, like Brett. There is a variant cover that I think many individuals are going to be surprised to see in the Gunslinger issue 1 lineup. One in particular was the creator of Walking Dead, Invincible, Robert Kirkman. He did a variant. What was that like to collaborate with him? I always assumed you guys have a special relationship.
Yeah, I here's the thing I keep saying, and people obviously have forgotten this information. I think even Eric Stevenson, the publisher of Image, forgot it. Robert Kirkman drew the first 5 pages of Spawn 200.
That's right, 200, and he was on New Beginnings, wasn't he?
I think it was 200. Maybe but I thought it was one of the anniversary books.
Yeah, 200 as well. Yeah, he did 200 for sure.
But I think did like 5 pages, 6 pages, or whatever. But if you go and get that book, and I didn't tell you who drew it, you would look at those 5, 6 pages and go, man, that's pretty solid artist. And so I knew he had the chops to draw, and I knew he was busy, so he's never going to write a book for me. So I went, man, how, like, Robert, he's cool. How do I get him to do something? It's like, you know what? Years and years ago, he drew some pages for me. You know what? Why don't I just get him to do some more pencils and I can ink them again? Because I inked those 5 pages over him. So I had done a cover for him for Firepower. And the easiest way to get people sort of indebted to you is you do a cover and you never charge them a penny, right? And they're like, Todd, and I'm like, no, I did it as a favor, don't worry. But then you get to call a favor at some point, and you get to even the score.
Cash it in.
I said, hey, yeah, I did that cover for you. You want to do a cover for me? And he was like, yeah, sure. On one condition, Todd. I pencil it, you ink it, and so I want a piece of original artwork, so I have the original cover. And I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. Done deal. So
fantastic. Yeah, and Kirkman isn't the only writer that you've teamed up with to do art during King Spawn 1. I actually have, it's one of my favorite modern day writers, Donny Cates. You also did the same service. You inked his pencils, and Donnie's getting better and better by the cover. I found this tweet that he did when he announced that he collaborated on this with you. He said that his announcement of you inking his Spawn cover was, quote, the most amazing thing he has ever tweeted. Of all the things he has tweeted, his announcements, him being on Venom, Absolute Carnage, Thor, Black Winter, Null, it was doing this cover with you. What do you think about Donny Cates?
So here's the thing that's weird. I actually understand why he's saying that, right? And because I'll give you my exact story that matches his. I came into the industry and I worked for Marvel for a little bit, and then I moved over to DC. I was doing a monthly comic book, Infinity Incorporated. I'd been in the industry, I don't know, maybe a year and a half or whatever, doing a monthly book, pay 25 pages every month, get to do the covers. I happened to be in New York visiting a buddy of mine who had just gotten a job as Klaus Jansson's inking assistant. I'm hanging out with my buddy, crashing at his pad in New York, and the door knocks, and Klaus is there, and he hands my buddy pages, and they're from The Dark Knight, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight. And he says, hey, here's some pages. We got a bit of a deadline. I need to pick them up tomorrow if you can get them done. And my buddy was like, okay, cool. Klaus didn't really give him much to go on, which I thought was weird, but okay. And everybody knew this book was coming out, right? Because Frank and Klaus had done their run on Daredevil, so this was this big book coming. And here are these two punks, an unknown artist at DC and a newbie inking assistant, and we're holding these pages to Dark Knight. I think it might have been issue 2 or whatever it was. And he's going, oh my God, I got to get all these pages done. And he goes, I don't know if I'm going to get them done. And I go, well, I'll help you. And he was like, oh, Todd, would you? And so I remember the pages that I inked backgrounds, and one of them I inked like cans of beans. Batman is in a old lady suit, this fat old lady suit with some missing teeth like a hillbilly, and she's complaining about the price of the beans. She's holding up the beans, but there were beans on all the shelves, and I got to draw the beans, and then there's something explosion on the next page or one of the pages, and I got to draw the bricks exploding, and even though I was doing a monthly book, even though that was paying the bills and it was the money that I was able to propose to my wife, who I'm still married to after all these years, to me, I was going, this is my best day ever in comic books. I'm doing beans and bricks on the Dark Knight, right? That was the highlight. It was the highlight of my career. So I understand Donny's geekiness because, he might have been a little kid and image might have been sort of important to him. And now he's doing something on one of the books that was one of the original books. And oh my gosh. And it just, when you get right down to it, Donny's not much different than me. He's just an 8-year-old boy at heart, right? So I get it.
Todd, you're blowing my mind that you did inks on the Dark Knight. That's gonna
background.
It still counts. It still counts, Todd.